this radio
It's
station.
Love Jones. It's Love Jones. Check us out as we combine our hidden music with a love story. Live with Candy. It's Love Jones. Call in and participate at 326-0271 on Global Radio 99.5 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, Refugee Camp presents
For all relationships, for regrets, for disagreements, for breaking up and making up, for all those out there jonesing for love, it's Love Jones right here, right now on Global 99.5.
Welcome to another edition of Love.
And we're live.
You are? We are live.
Start off with your beautiful voice.
Wow.
Deep and sultry.
Morning. It's a Wednesday, Hump Day Wednesday. I think my key head and my shot, but yeah, there we go. Welcome to a brand new edition of Love Jones on a wild Wednesday. We've got the fabulous Aaron Rao. Yes, we've got next to the chocolate Goodman himself riding in. It's Brother D, the 13th disciple. Good morning, sir. Sliding down a pole near you. It's Magic Mike. Yeah. Yeah, you see why it's called Wild Wednesday. Candy's in with you, and the solid is on the other side, making sure that everything goes as it should. Yes, before we do anything, get into any discussions, it is 431-8497 is your text, as well as WhatsApp. You can email us at verycoolcandy@Yahoo, lovejonescrew@gmail, of course. Good morning to our Facebook viewers, and those of you that will watch it via Facebook, Global 995's page, Love Jones Crew, as well as YouTube. It will all be posted there for your later viewing enjoyment. And you can also call in live at 326-0272 or 1. Everybody good this morning?
Yes, I'm actually fabulous.
You're
this
fabulous.
morning.
That's good.
The heat didn't do me too bad.
Didn't do too bad.
Yeah.
We just getting,
Man,
we just getting
listen.
started.
My AC no wake.
My AC is weak.
Me now, I'm no AC.
I mean, my car.
You see this, right? All of a sudden now we've my AC's way. All while he was melting sex hangs. It was nothing to be
He looks a little
said.
brighter since his AC.
Boy, you see that?
Yeah.
Huh?
What's going on there?
Glow up.
No, that's the life of sun. And we can do it. Yeah, sorry.
What had happened was
But that's the lack of unemployment.
That's what had happened. All right, so we have covered a lot in the first 2 days of the week, and we could probably do a shuffle of some of those things, as well as today being Wild Wednesday. I would love to go around the table and something that's close to you, something that's dear to you, something that has peeved you, something that whatever in reference to love, relationships, connectivity, anything to that matter, we'd love to just put on the table and open it up for discussion today. Who shall begin? Do you look like you got some pressing? No?
Pressing matters.
Or shall we start here and go around? Shall we?
Start right
Start
there
there.
with the light skin.
You want me to start?
The light skin, dark skin.
Yeah,
Let's
go on.
Mike. I didn't get to hear you last week like
Yes,
that.
go
Let's
ahead.
go, Mike.
What's on the
You
table
didn't
for you?
get to hear me last week.
Not
You serious?
really. No, we kind of, me, D, and Candy kind of
Yes,
went
taking
ham
it over.
last week.
Yeah,
So
and we
gonna-
apologize for that.
Yeah, Mike.
We'll try
Yeah.
Which is why we will.
There are some police now. That's what we believe now.
this time. So, what ails you? What's your question? What's your comment? What's your what in reference to love, relationships, connectivity, or lack thereof?
Just what I texted you last night.
Ooh.
Ah,
Remember I texted you last night?
you mean the pic? Oh, not it.
Yes.
Oh, the pics, the bitches. Superman. That was. Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
You could keep a secret, eh?
Sorry about that.
You started it.
As I scroll back. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. What do we feel like when it comes to being in a relationship or a marriage where there are children and the factors of disciplinary actions come into play? right?
Yeah.
Because we
And I'll
all
tell
see
you-
it differently.
And I'll tell you one of my wives. My wife.
That's a whole new program right there.
But
The same thing came to my mind.
My wife was disciplining one of my kids.
Yes.
Yes, last night, and she had gotten so angry.
Mhm.
I had to stop her. And during that whole process, I saw my mother in her. And that's when I text Candace, like, wow, we talk about choosing a mate that's similar to the way you were brought up.
Mhm.
And it clicked to me that I saw my mother last night and my wife. I couldn't believe it. Because of the way she disciplined me, my wife disciplined and the way it
You
affected me,
attracted that.
whatever.
But it's
That's no-
it's
no, don't say that.
Yeah, we talk
say that.
about that though.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But I saw that and it was amazing to me. I had to stop it because the anger I saw in her,
Yes.
I saw it in my mother. I saw it in my
How
mother.
did that impact you?
That's why I stopped.
Yeah.
Stopped her from continuing to discipline my daughter.
But now, see, the key here is, like I said to you last evening, the key here is what now? Because a conversation has to be had with the wife. Because a lot of times, that's what I said initially, you have to have a conversation with your wife. Because a lot of time as parents, I know logistically we say we would prefer to punish or tackle the situation when we're calm, but that's typically not the way it happens.
Right.
You cut him on spot, on site as the deed had been done. Right. And so that's typically what we do. And me personally, I'm big enough to say that it's been times when they've done things and it's been building and I haven't spanked. And then when I do, boom, Moses, I open your Red Sea.
It was that.
Like
It was
seriously,
that last night.
and there's flashes, and
she
my
was
kids
really
have
angry.
said to
Huh?
me, "Mommy,
Friends or
One of the twins.
one of the twins," and my kids have said, "Mommy, like if you saw the look on your face, like you look like, woo, you
I
changed,
you.
like yeah,
Yeah.
like." And you have to realize the size of you compared to them depends on the size, like because. Temperance is the size of your twins or not smaller. She's 6, but they are the ones that will push every button
Well, they know where
existing
to push.
in
They
the
actually
fiber of
they
being.
don't. The thing is, that's the thing. They don't.
They
know where to
just
put.
do.
They just do. They're just being them. It's at 6. You
really,
don't understand.
You really,
Yeah.
by
No,
six,
some
you don't
children,
know
they
where to
know.
push.
No,
At 6,
They know what they
They
know what they up to.
know.
A lot of them, they know what they
I got a 2-year-old who know how to wet bush.
Now, even if they
Not a
don't say, you
2-year-old
know what,
now.
I'm going to purposely needle you, they know when
No,
they're
no,
doing
they're not-
something
right,
that's
they
going
know.
to cause a problem.
Right, and
This is what I'm-
they try to get out of it, but sometimes they kind of punch it too quick and then try run and they got to get catch.
The thing is, I have 6 here. I have a 7-year-old,
Mhm.
and I have kids that have been 7, and I would think so.
Right,
I think so. I think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't pass that.
And so when I
6, 9.
so what I've experienced with them is like a lot of times. I mean, as parents, we look at the things that we did
Mhm.
at that age
And how it affects
and
us.
how it affected us,
Right.
and we, a lot of times, in all honesty, like growing up, your parents, oh, I beat you because I love you. No, you don't. You beat me because you want to cut my hair. That's why you beat me. But then, when you become a parent, it clicks and you understand why.
But is that the only way to punish your kids, though?
No,
it's-
okay.
you-
mean
you
by
and me, we
physically hitting?
No. Listen, the thing is, I believe you. I believe sometimes you have to.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But
I
like
don't
Candy
think-
and I were talking, there has to be balance. You see what
Mhm.
I'm saying? The problem I had yesterday was the anger she was
Yeah, yeah.
at.
And-
You identified, you saw it outside of herself because she was in
You
it
was
and you were
right.
on the outside of it.
Right. And see, let me tell you, that took me back. And it was amazing because I was able, and I hadn't flashed back to this time. I was like 8. I did something. And exactly when my wife got that belt, and
It started
my
to
daughter
play
came
over.
running to me and she hid behind me. I did the same thing when I was 8. My aunt was there.
Wow.
I hid behind my aunt.
Mhm.
When my mother when she was done with me, I had to go to the hospital. All of that came back.
Okay.
All of that came back.
And see,
Because of the anger
Yes.
that I saw in my wife,
Yeah.
that just popped right back.
It's
and that's part of the reason why. Like, remember, I think I told Candy about the incident that I had. It wasn't with me, but it was with my younger brother. When my father
Yeah.
beat him,
Mhm.
and he had to go to. He didn't go to the hospital, but he had some serious cuts on him,
Mhm.
and at that point, my father started beating everybody in the house, like all the kids. He was like, you know what, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And for me as a father, when I see myself getting to that point of anger with my kids, I leave. No, I don't pull back. I completely leave. Like I'll be like, look, I coming back later, and I'll jump in my car and I'll go on the beach, or I'll go for a drive, or I'll go get something to drink, or whatever it is, and I'll just get away from the situation. A lot of times, parents, they don't know how to separate from how to differentiate punishment with anger. Sometimes they associate the two.
They're tied in. You get to the point of anger, and then
you punish, right?
The problem, though, because I expressed that to you before as well. See, the interesting part is when we were I don't want to say beat because it sounds so extreme, but that's what it was. When we received spankings, beatings, or whatever, when we were younger, we thought of it as this is norm. This is just what happens, right?
The stories of go pick your sweat.
Exactly. It's what they told us. This is what Grammy did to them. So it was switch for them. For us, it was belt or shoe, whatever was on hand. Right. But I told you, I remember one time in particularly, I think my mom was pregnant with the youngest brother, the last. And with hormones and pregnancy and everything, she got so angry. I think my sister put wet clothes in the drawer. And she thought it was me, and without even asking anything, she went off. And I can still show you. I have a line of scars going down where she hit me so hard with the belt over and repeatedly. I was cowering by the door, and it tore flesh, and it continued to tear. And when she snapped back and she realized what she was doing, she dropped the belt and ran in the room and started to cry. But she also had a thing with apologizing. She could not ever apologize. My mother was the person, if she reversed into you, she'd say, you shouldn't have been standing there. That's how she was. It was difficult to draw an apology from her. Yes, whatever you did, whatever she did, you caused her to do that. And so we always had that battle between us. And so after she did it, and like I had to cover, I was almost ashamed when I went to school. I didn't want anybody to see or know whatever. It isn't anything that I did in particularly, but it was tied into shame. Yeah. And so when I came home, she had like a little watch and an outfit for me. That was her way of apologizing. And I had to really catch myself when it came to disciplinary. I had to draw a line. I couldn't allow the children to know that there's a place where you could run over me. So you had to know that there is an action to the things that you do, which is punishment. And if that has to be spanking, then it will be. And I also had to realize that I can't gift you things. I have to learn how to say, we're parents, we have to learn how to say, I'm sorry when we make mistakes, or even if we have the right to do so, you apologize for the way or the means in which you express that. So, it's a fine line in trying to understand your role as a parent, getting what you needed from your own parents, because they did have some good stuff, and realizing, but that stuff didn't work. That was more of a detriment to my spirit, and I have to do differently. And so it really is challenging to find a balance between spoiling them and not punishing them so that they go into the world
or how do you
thinking that there is... Kind of works. It always does balance,
but I'm just saying,
it gotta be equilibrium.
The getting beaten, right? Is that
I can use that one?
Yeah. Should we only use that as a corrective action?
No, definitely not just beating.
With me, my daughter, my youngest, all of you have met it except for Erin. That's that's my shadow, and I will talk to her. Same thing I did with all my kids. I will talk to them. I'll be like, look, you cannot do this. And I'll explain to them why. If they do it again. But same I'm talking to you guys. You cannot do this. And and if they do it again, I'll tell them again, you cannot do this. And I explain to them why. They do it the fourth time.
And people say, make it the fourth?
Yeah. And I do that for I do it because growing up, that's what it was kind of a reprogramming thing. Because kids are kids or whatever. The fourth time I'd be like, all right, and I get up just as calm as I talking to you, and I go and I walk in the closet and I select my belt.
Not the selection.
Yeah.
See, okay, at least you make it a 4. I ain't carrying the 4.
No, but men and women are different.
2.
Men and women are different, yeah.
We're not going to go to 4.
Yeah, I go to 4. That way when I come at you, there is no retribution now.
See, because it's justification in our mind in
Yeah.
saying I communicated with you
Yeah,
first
and that's what it is.
and all of that,
And so
rather
when-
than just coming and going boom, boom, boom,
Right.
boom.
So when
When I
the thing
got
is,
her-
when you got your kids, are you
No, I'm not angry. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I got her, and I said, now come here. And I said, now what did I tell you? And I didn't rob the bell. I didn't fix
Oh,
it
she done
properly.
ready. You coming?
Yeah, and she already know. And she looked at me. I'm like, buddy, we ain't met. No.
Do
And
we
when
agree?
I grab her,
More, wow.
and when I grab her with
Let's
that
talk
that,
some
that
more.
nice little jeans, I grab in position when the jeans nice and tight
Uh-huh.
on your skin.
And then you
Yeah, and I hit you.
Solid
And I hit you that first one, and then I wait for the reaction.
I don't know how that position goes.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I hold it tight. You know, man. I handle it.
So
They
they
don't
don't
get
Definitely
me.
So let me
my
ask the
thing.
question.
Yeah,
Never
and when I hit you that
expect
once, that first one I wait for the reaction. 'Cause
Are you guys-
that first one you can it can register, but they didn't register. It could take about a couple seconds to so come
So it's going back and
thinking back. So hold on. Are we in agreement though that some children only meeting works?
No, for some you have to really talking is not.
You take away games, you take away access
Yeah.
to social media, you take away phone and all of that.
Sometimes the fear of God is up to be put in some kids.
Some children
Yeah.
just
Hold on, and if that's translated as beating, because they have to fear you that
you have to
Guess
find
what?
it works.
then it probably
I don't
works.
think it's always beating because I've run into strangers, children,
Mm.
and got them to do things that their parents couldn't
Because you're
get them to do.
strange and you're scary.
Not just
That's
that,
right.
son, and sometimes it's how you come across as an authoritative figure,
Right.
That's
which will
what
make
it
the
is, I
difference.
think.
Because
A lot of us want to be our
children
kids'
do.
friends,
No.
and that I'm sorry, I've seen time and time again that will not work. If
No.
if it doesn't hit you now, it will come back to bite you later on. You are not their friend. You are a confidant, indeed, which has an aspect of friendship. You are a confidant.
Yeah.
But when they put you and align you in the same way in which they would a friend, there are small levels of disrespect and lines
Oh,
that they
yeah.
begin to cross.
My
And
Sit down.
it happens more and more frequently. Yeah,
my oldest son
it's a
came to me
problem.
with that before. Daddy, I your friend, right? I said, I was gonna say, Daddy is my friend, right? I said, no, sir. I said, I'm your father. I said,
You're not the boss of me.
I said the two start with F. That's,
But not the same.
no, I said,
Not
and
the
the
same.
reality of it is, I said, I can be friendly with you.
Yeah.
Aw,
I can.
be like SpongeBob.
You guys
Let me
know
ask you a question. Why did she run to you? Why do you
run?
why do you
Well, run.
But no, I want him to
Register.
make the correlation. Why do you think that she ran to you? Does she run to Kara if you're about to? Have you ever spanked?
Yeah, yeah. of course
Does
I
she
do.
run to Kara when you're spanking?
No, she saw
Hold
that.
on.
Yeah, she saw that.
No,
Understand what I'm trying to get at.
I
Understand what I'm trying to
get.
get at. If you spank any of them, they don't seek nor do they run to their
They don't
mother
look for
to hide.
refuge.
Right? When their mother was spanking or
But
getting
hold
ready
on.
to punish.
That was the first time it ever happened, though. Last night.
Understand what I'm saying? I want you to make a registration
It ain't
within
gonna-
your mind.
It ain't a click. I know she don't.
It will. If it doesn't now, it has. I'm sure he understands where I'm going with it, but it will click to you
Later,
properly a little
probably.
bit later. I want you to understand and think that through, regardless if it's
No,
the first
Help
time
him make
or
the
the
connection
last,
because I think I
last
dealt with
time.
him. I know he
Right? They do not seek Kara out, whether it's punishment, whether it's something you're taking away, whether it's spanking everything. They do not seek their mother or they do not run to her when you are taking the handle of punishment. But when it is the opposite, and that's not the only time she's run to you. I've been in your presence before, even if it isn't spanking, they seek you out, not just as their protector. They see you as that. Obviously, your father should be your protector,
Right.
but they also see you as what else?
Oh, I get it now.
Daddy.
Not just daddy. And I know it's clicking to you.
No, no,
It
no.
is.
Tell
It
me.
is. That's why you're smiling.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's dangerous territory.
Yeah.
That's dangerous territory. And
Yeah.
they see you as many things. I understand that, and I see that. They see you as a protector and all of that, but you cannot allow it to get to a place where they see you as, yes, a place to run. We all want us to be places where our children run to as a safety zone, but not a place where they feel like they can go where slackness is allowed to,
I disagree.
and we're undermining.
I disagree.
But you do agree that you're not going to see all of those times where they're running to you.
Like I said, that's the first time it has ever happened when
That
they
is
were
registered
disciplined.
to you in that way.
When she was
I'm not
disciplined.
saying it's
I don't
slackless.
usually-
I'm
No, no, I
saying
don't- when she disciplines them, I don't get in it. You see what I'm saying? Same as when I'm disciplining her, she doesn't get in it.
right.
You see what I'm saying? But last night, It was
It was different.
it was
Yeah, it was a
different.
different
It was different because there were other things that you know
It was something
helped
brewing,
the, helped
and
the
it led into.
helped the situation to get to where
What I'm saying to you is, I'm not saying that that is what is in existence, but what I'm saying is, as parents, we all, whether it's father or mother, we have to be very careful when we set up certain things. When children see alliances formed, and children do that.
Oh yeah,
They do that.
That's how come I could tell
Right?
you.
I was seen in the house as I was the person that was always responsible for more of the harsher disciplinary. And my children, especially my last daughter, she would run to daddy. She would hide behind him, or mommy said whatever, and she would look for either him to come to me in order to break that down or make it a little bit easier or whatever. And whenever he disciplined, it was never as, in their mind, it was never as harsh as when I did.
Well, I mean, I would say it's never as harsh, but I do discipline them. You see what I'm saying? But it's you know, the relationship I have with my kids is the same relationship my wife has with the kids. You've seen them.
But it's different for you. Why I'm saying that is because of the experiences that you had as a child.
Right.
That will definitely impact the way that you
No,
administer,
definitely.
because you know what the other side of the coin is like. And that's what I said. Even as mates, we tend to infringe the things that we've experienced on our mate. We do it. It's a different kind of mirror, and it's a reflective thing that we tend to do, and we put it on our mate, and it makes for a difficult situation whether we realize or recognize it at the time. But we do
What I
it.
love about the situation with Mike, the minute you were talking about it, I said to myself, "Wow, at least it's a two parent home where somebody could see that and say, okay, babe, stop. No, take a break."
If you weren't there,
because if you weren't there, then they would have experienced something else. If it was a single parent home, like when I'm disciplining my son, I rarely had to beat my son. I've always spoke first, and that's because what I experienced growing up.
Right.
And I was determined I wasn't going to handle my kids how I was handled when it came to discipline. And so I speak first, but he knows when after the first and the second, I'm in the second territory. And you still we going at it. We about to go at it. And it usually doesn't get 2 seconds. But those times where I did and I had to spank him, one time before, I was very, very, very upset. And you know when you feel upset, because you're breathing, you're doing like this, and all the thoughts in your mind just going, but all the other times you let it slide. It do be a build up. Those times I was able to stop myself and say, okay, I am that upset. I just have to say, give me go over there or go sit down, go find something to do.
Right.
If I touch you, and usually they can tell because on your face, something changed about you. I remember one time I was so upset. My son looked at me and he went, and he himself, I didn't even tell him go sit down somewhere. He had a sat.
And
I didn't see him. And when I was calm, I spoke to him and I said, listen, this is why mom was like this, blah, 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 because I truly believe we have to communicate more with our kids when it comes to discipline and saying why and what, and also saying sorry, because sometimes I yell at him, I scream at him, and I say things, so I assume he did that and he didn't do that, and and I have to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I realized that was not the case.
No, definitely, because what happened was, even after the situation, I spoke to 3 of my kids last night, and then even this morning when we got up, because the other twin did something as well, and she came to me in the room. She's like, I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. This was after. Like the house was so, like the mood had totally changed in the house.
That's scary.
It changed.
Did you speak with your wife?
I tried to.
She wasn't having it.
No, it was just settled.
See, because the other parent would see it as you're usurping.
Yes,
my
undermining my authority,
and the children will now see and recognize that and that's how they see it. You don't intend for it, but that's how it happens.
The reality of it is what Candy said just now is true, because even with my parents, my mom used to always, now as adults, she would tell us, she's like, there are times when I totally disagree with how your father disciplined you guys and whatever, but I'm not gonna let you see that. She said, when we get in the room, I can
deal with that.
Yeah, I can tell him what I feel about it, and I can wait until 2-3 o'clock in the morning when I sure you're asleep.
And then we can hash
then me and him can have it out.
And because,
because I can't never let y'all see or feel as though we are split.
No, it's always a team.
We always together. If he's wrong, we still together in your eyes. But when we get in that room,
It's
then
gonna go down.
we can know what's the difference.
And that's
And-
a real dynamic.
And I, because I was always wondering, like, how in the world y'all is just. And sometimes you'll see you'll kind of see on her face it's a little different. Or she like walk away when certain things start to happen. And when you come to her mommy, and she like, buddy, you need to go deal with your daddy.
Yeah.
Because he was dealing with that. Don't come to me. And you be like, look how you could just be so close to what me.
It ain't that, but
then when she explained it, I understood. The only time I saw a split between them was when the situation happened with my brother.
right.
Right.
That was the
that extreme.
only time that when it got that extreme. That was the only time. Other than that, you couldn't. Growing up, we would.
Like I said, my parents were anytime she disciplines them, I never get it. But last night it just seemed so extreme.
No, but if you see the difference,
when she started spanking, well, not spanking, when she started beating her with the belt, it was like I was like, okay, no, that's enough.
Yeah.
That was enough. You know what I'm saying? And then she got upset.
Well, of course.
You know,
but
and I understand
in her
that.
state of anger or frustration,
You
or
know,
whatever
she
it
got
was.
upset, and
Not just that, in her mind,
give
you're
it
taking
time.
away her
Yes.
right as the mother to deal with this situation, and that's not how you saw it, and that's why the conversation is important. So,
right, no, definitely.
but see,
definitely.
that goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. It's about some of the things that have to be discussed
Mhm.
when you get into relationships, when you get married, and this is why history is so important. A lot of the stuff that happened as a child, I didn't divulge a lot of that stuff, and so therefore the reason why I was the way I was, I reacted to certain things, and I felt this a way about certain things he didn't necessarily understand. Had I probably
Explain those things.
explained those things early on,
Yeah, but you can't explain those because that's being vulnerable.
It is, and
That's
it's
like letting
difficult.
people into your little diary. You used to put the little lock on and sharing with them, and you don't even know if they worth that or if they even go respect it.
agreed. But there has to come a time when, if you make a decision to make this person a part of your life,
When
Those
children
things-
come
those
into
things-
play,
That
I
as
think
well.
definitely-
No,
I think you have to
When
do it
you've already-
before children
right.
come into
When you've
play, so
already
that there's an
decided-
understanding on who you're betting and
Right.
having these children with.
when
Because
you
you said it should be done on the first date. Remember you said
Listen,
that
some of these
yesterday?
things you better get
Me
into
too.
it. I ain't saying you're supposed to talk all, but
Yes,
hi, mommy, grab you up and
They
take.
be sit down and
It's
say,
like,
yeah, no,
check,
but the
check
reality-
with this
check, please.
but the-
Waitress.
but the reality of it is, when you get into a race, you look around and you see who you're up against. You don't know the ability of the people that you're up against, but you know that there are other people there. When you get into a relationship with someone, there are other people there.
Yeah.
Now, where those people stand, where they come in that race, that's where the problem comes in. But there are other people there, so you need to let them know. Look here, okay, the person on my left, that's my ex-husband. He's freaky sometimes. You don't worry about him too much.
Yeah, no,
but
I agree. You gotta give people.
you gotta give them an idea of what it is that they are about to get into.
Eyes wide open.
Yeah, you have to.
Have to.
Instead of wide shut.
Exactly.
You can't wait until kids are involved, because when kids are involved, then
That changes.
It's too late.
That's a different dynamic
It's
now that you're
completely
introduced.
too late.
And now you have to deal with, okay, now I got to introduce the ex-husband, crazy Uncle Bill, who just drink too much at tea parties,
Or even the
plus the
parents.
children. Exactly. So instead of lumping all of that, you take it as it is. Okay, this is what's the dynamic between my ex-husband and I.
Yeah.
This is what the visitation or whatever else is with the children. This is how he contributes or does not contribute financially. This is the agreement that we have.
He said he could be in his skin.
Right. And then as everything comes, you have to take it and deal with it.
I read.
So,
Well,
child.
I immediately.
I show you a party when I found him a boyfriend.
My God, so when we having cake, I feel the minute Mike said about that, it really in my dad. When we moved back to the Bahamas and we were with my dad, and every time I would discipline my son, my dad would chime in, "Why don't do that? Why are you doing that? Why are you beating them? You shouldn't be beating them." Blah, blah, blah. I looked at my dad and I went, "Who child is this?" I say, "Where was my rescue when y'all was beating me for no reason at that, right? Who was there saving me?" I say, "Don't do that." "Oh, I don't think you should beat him." I said, "Well, let that be a conversation we had." But my son experienced that too much till he tried me one time. And I took him in front of my daddy and I beat him. And I beat him and I said, "You think this man can save you? If you do wrong, I come in for you."
Yeah.
He can't. And my dad sat there with his eye open like, And from then,
He didn't.
he never stepped over that boundary again. And my son, I had to explain to my son, because my dad liked junk food, and they would truck in the morning, and while I'm asleep, eating all this stuff. So my son will come to me, Mommy, you want any candy? I'm like, who giving you candy? Daddy giving me candy. I say, well, listen, that's your little secret. You ain't supposed to tell Mommy that. I said, that's your little
That's your
thing.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's your little thing. Because Mommy ain't gonna let you eat no
Yeah,
candy.
right.
I said, so go enjoy your candy and don't bring that back to me. So I had to teach him the dynamics of what our relationship was when
Versus
it comes to
their.
that. Because single parents mostly have to have these type of conversations with their parents if their parents are involved.
Right.
Because the parents want that they now have grandparents, and all of a sudden their grandchildren are angels like we weren't. Like
We
so we
weren't.
got all the
Yeah.
all
So
the
you be like,
burden
well, when you get
and-
us
like,
off,
what's going
Yeah,
on?
I don't-
because all the,
I don't recall all of this
I still have
goodness.
scars. I mean,
That's what I said. I don't remember all these ponies and
But that's
butterflies
what I
when I
said.
was coming up.
No,
Trying to
because
rescue
the ponies weren't ponies at that point.
No, I
They were
didn't know.
unicorns.
I was
They
getting the
were
bridle.
unicorns.
I know that's what I was
And
getting.
the
That's the only pony
butterflies.
part I saw.
And the butterflies were dragons.
I
so
can't even.
now
That's what I'm
that-
saying.
now-
Now I can
yeah,
introduce.
yeah.
Okay, I get it.
But
I get it.
It's the same. I think that's just grandparents on the whole. Because like with my
They want to
kids, it's the
redo.
same
They
thing.
want to do
I
over
don't
with
really
their
think it's a
grandkids.
redo. I think it's just okay. Now I don't have to be the disciplinarian. Now that's someone else's.
I
job.
could do
Yeah, but
spoiling.
why you jumping on? Why you jumping on my own?
Because who else will make you jump on? You are mine. They
Yeah,
are yours, so
and-
they
and
are
so they
mine.
mine too.
Like yeah, like
Yeah.
when my daughter
So
go
where
to
my
my
cake?
when my daughter go to my parents, she could get away with anything.
Yeah.
And I just sit there, and I'm talking about not only from my parents, from her uncles,
Yeah.
from her aunt,
Mhm.
from her cousins, like, and I just sit there and I just look at her and I be like, shh, and I say to myself in my mind, but enjoy this.
Yeah, because I did not.
Because when you go out here, it's back to reality,
Mhm.
and I don't get in it. My brother, if he decides he will carry us somewhere, what, Daddy, I could go away,
Mhm.
go.
But you know what this reminds me? This I have to smile just now. When you get in these relationships and you have your disciplinary way that you handle your kids, you're
Mhm.
coming in with kids, they're coming within kids, or
Mhm.
they may have kids and are not in their company, or they may not have any kids.
Right.
When they get into that dynamic of you and your child, and now they're jumping on you because the way that you're disciplining your child, that's like another like why am I here moment.
No,
like
no,
come on
no,
now.
no. It's about like with me. I had a situation where just joking around. My daughter used to call her ugly. She used to call me ugly. That was just our little thing.
Mhm.
And then I think me and Candy were talking about it with the disciplining kids
Mhm.
up to a certain age,
Okay.
and someone said to me this, like, you don't call her, I mean, they say, I know it's a joke and I can hear that it's playful, but don't call none of your daughters, especially ugly.
Okay.
I'm like, but we only playing. They're like, no. They're like, you gotta understand something. Your subconscious mind is very powerful.
Psychological.
Mhm.
And they said, even though you say that and it's joking now,
Mhm.
as they get older and they start to date,
Mhm.
that is gonna replay.
When
And
someone
men
do
are
call
gonna
them
be
that.
able to pull that up subconsciously and use that against them. They say, so you always validate them, you always call them beautiful, you always call them pretty, you always make them feel special. I'm like, all right. And it didn't click. I'm like, when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. And then when they made a comment about the beating thing, they say when a girl reaches, I think, like 11, 12,
Then you have to stop eating because
And I'm like, you got to be a judge. Jesus.
until I said
I find females don't get beat as much as males.
no,
They
but the
don't.
reason
But the
why we were
reason
saying
why
to cease it is
It's because of
because
abuse.
I used to
now
get beat for
when
my
you
sister.
talk about
Yeah.
and no, but now when we talk about when they go into teen years or whatever, and you're continuing to punishing fire beating, now they affiliate
Yeah, that-
authority and
With
love
abuse.
with abuse.
Physical abuse.
Right. So you
emotional
get involved
abuse,
with a man
mental
and he
abuse.
raises his hand, he grabs, he
Yeah,
hits.
you-
Well, this is what
Exactly.
daddy used to deal with
Right.
me when I used to step out the side of the box. So it'll just be a continuum.
And then they said, someone said to me, they said their father actually said something to them that was way out of pocket. Their father did. And she said to him, she's like, don't do that. Don't say that to me. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm your father. She said, yes, I get that. She said, but then
And
if
that's
I was
what's
to go out,
saving you.
hold on. No. But then she said, but if I was to go out
Uh-huh.
and a young man was to say the exact same thing you said to me
Mhm,
just now,
mhm.
you would be
Live it.
livid. But how can you be offended by him saying to me what
Yeah.
You was my father.
find okay to say to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And when she said it, I'm like, when she said, she's like, don't. I'm like, you said it. She's like, yeah. And when she explained, I was like, all right, yeah, he shouldn't have said that to you.
You gave it.
You know, so right. So I'm like, and she said, her dad, he was like, okay, I apologize. And she said, no, better no way. He's like, I apologize. He's like, and I will never say that to you again. He said, but she said, no, you can't make excuses for it. And this is his child talking to him. And the thing about it is, sometimes as parents, we need that reality check. Yes, we are the parent and whatever, and we get caught up in that.
It doesn't come with a manual, and sometimes you definitely make mistakes.
And you have to be able, right? You have to be man enough or woman enough to be able to realize when you make the mistake and accept it and fix it. And sometimes the only person that can fix it is your child.
But that's the amazing part of it. That's what I said to him. That's what I said to you yesterday about. Well, if you're just tuning in, it's been a lot on the table this morning. This is Love Jones on Global 99.5. When we talk about marrying people that are the opposite or the exact simulation of our parent, with dating a man, no, it sounds weird.
If I recognize my mommy in any woman,
when I say not just that, but I mean, it don't have to be her. It can be positive or negative, or it just not isn't her. But it is the behavioral aspect. So let me give you for instance.
Be cool.
For instance, knowing a man, right? No, it isn't. It doesn't have to be. It's just understanding what the correlation between your relationship with your mother.
If my mommy likes someone too much, I won't be with them.
But here's the thing. It was just amazing to me that I was attracted to this person, and she was so much like my mother.
Yeah. You don't realize it until after.
And I saw that. I was like, well, great.
And that's scary. I personally sometimes, depending on who the mother is, if you say to me, you remind me of mother, I go, yes, what type? To somebody, I have to go. Because when you meet their parents, sometimes and you're looking at them and you're saying, how did this create this? And then now they're telling you, you remind me of her, and you're going to yourself, I need to check myself.
What is it that's about me?
Like, can you go in deeper and tell me how?
Sometimes it isn't that.
Insulted.
For instance, like we talked about a man that said that he watched his mother. She went through two marriages, but multiple relationships. 2 or 3 of which yielded children, right? But there was always this sense of, okay, if it doesn't work, then boop, on to the next one, boop, on to the next one, boop, on to the next one. Even if it's marriage or whatever it is, it's just doing that. And then you watch the trend of the kinds of women that he dated. His mother was a professional woman, nonetheless, right? She had her own demons and issues, but on the outside, the hair was always coiffed. Eyebrows on fleek, always fixed, very professional. And you look at that and the kinds of women that he dates, always attracted to women that are well put together, well spoken, have an admiration for music. All these things is what his mother was. And it translates into the way that he tackles relationship, a fear of getting too close to someone, because you get close and poop, it doesn't work for mom kicks them out. So as you get a connection with these men, a stepdaddy or whatever, you get the connection and it doesn't work for her. It doesn't matter the relationship you have. It isn't working for me. So he's gone. So it's that fear now translating into the women that he gets involved with. He's attracted to the kind of woman that his mother was, but surface wise, but reflection wise, it's, I can't get close to you, even though that's what I want so badly, because I wanted that connection with my mother too. I still scared to get too close to you, because I've learned through what she did in her relationships. If you get too close and you love someone like that, on to the next one. You can put me out. The psychological mind and the way that you treat things on a subconscious level, like you were saying as well, and how you tackle your relationships is simply amazing. If you just sit down and you look and you put the blocks together, you will amaze yourself of the people that you've chosen and how it goes back to sometimes some of the most hurtful things that you've experienced as a child or in your past relationships.
Ooh, well, I have a question then. So if you're dating, now you were married, getting a divorce, or you were dating someone, y'all had a child, y'all now broke up, and now male or female is now dating, and the one rule you have in your mind is not to bring anybody around your kids, because you have been through where your kids have become attached to persons and they just leave, or you're very fearful that they're going to come in and just hurt the whole dynamics, or hurt your child, or it's going to be something that you don't see because you're just so distracted. Is that beneficial for the child to do that, or is that beneficial for you, or is that just being scared? Are you just setting yourself up for failure because these kids are a part of you?
Of course.
So are you kind of doing the right thing, or are you kind of going cowardly about it?
It
You're a
is.
coward.
It is fearful, but see, here's the thing: we have to realize that children, as well as human beings on the whole, have to realize that people will come into your life and they will go.
Yes.
Correct.
Not everyone that comes into your life is meant to be rooted there.
I know, but
We as adults, we typically want to root people when they're just leaves. They are meant to come, they flourish for their season, and they fall off. We understand that. We don't want to allow children to have that. And they have certain mechanisms. It's all about sometimes communication. A lot of times if you sit down and you discuss, depending on the age of a child, if you talk with a child, like for instance, how old is your son?
My son is 14. He's going to be 14.
14. I can guarantee if you talk with him on a separate basis,
Oh,
or
my
one of
son
us
is
talks,
awesome.
it isn't just that.
He's talk.
One of his main goals will be he wants you to be happy,
Yes.
period.
He
And then
says
he would
that.
love for you to find a man that will treat you the way that he could look and say, I feel cool. I feel good. I could lay back in the
But
cut.
I
feel
want that
comfortable
for him and
because
my daughter. Like I want
Mommy
them
good.
to witness that. I want that subconscious
But-
to be
but
so
the thing is-
dreaded with, not dreaded, so filled with memories of I've seen this,
Mhm.
I've experienced this,
But-
rather than the other part and the damage and or the lack thereof. Because then when you kind of sheltering them too,
it's a
kinda
problem as
doing a
well.
problem.
But
But
let me ask you a question. Can you ensure that whomever, whether you've known them for 3 years,
No.
10 years, you
No.
cannot?
No.
So what do? Do you cease
and
living
that's
life?
what I'm asking for persons like
You know
me
what
who
you
are
have to
thinking
do?
about that. How do I balance?
Is
There
there?
is no balance.
there's a
What you have
call?
to do, what you have to do is you have to just explore it for
There's a-
yourself.
I gotta
first.
eat cake.
There's
Yeah.
there's a caller on the line. Good morning. Thank you for calling into Love Jones. What's happening?
Hi,
That's
good morning.
Hi.
Morning.
Right?
First of all, Dee, my husband wanted me to tell you that he found his Hawkeye Empress, and there's hope for you, so don't give up.
He found his what?
Hawkeye Empress.
Yay! That's an inside joke. I'll share that with you. Cool.
I can't wait to hear that one.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, you know what bugs me with Bahamian women?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna speak in general. We introduce our children to our men who we date or have
Yeah.
a relationship with way too early.
Yeah.
We
Agreed.
can't keep doing that, especially with daughters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's gonna damage them in the end. And then when that person goes, like, what's gonna happen?
We're left to pick up the pieces.
And you get attached
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. I don't know why we do that. I mean, I think wait a year and then introduce your children to the person.
Yeah.
I did that.
That's
Yeah.
where you could get to know the person and stuff like that. You know,
Right.
because it's really it's bad. And I've watched people who had somebody
Mm-hmm.
and then they broke up with that person.
Right.
A month later, they introduce another person to their kids.
Yeah, and another mistake, please, anyone under the sounds of our voice, don't go telling these children, but this Uncle Bill, this uncle, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. They ain't your
Auntie
uncle
Hay.
nothing.
Yeah.
Unless that's your sister or your brother people, that ain't your uncle or auntie nothing. Don't do that.
Exactly.
Don't do that, because you really, and we have to realize the things that we do in our dating life or relationship, they will impact the way that your children have relationships
Yes.
and the way that they go about their love life. So it's a great responsibility. I ain't gonna tell nobody it's easy dating when you got children, child.
No.
Mm-mm. It definitely, but I did that.
See when you
Let me tell you what I did, right? When it was the dating thing, and yeah,
Okay.
when it was the whole dating thing, it was a year before I officially said this is X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
But my little groups and stuff would have little beach parties and whatever. He'd be present, and I'd let them see a little bit of an interaction, but not too much.
Mhm.
And then I'd tell the church, you see, that's so and so, that's so and so. What you think? But blah blah. And so before they know that there is any weight to it, or that their opinion matters at the time, you get a generalized idea of what they think of this person. It's
That's
spoon
the
feed.
thing, Candy. We hide these men and women, these new men and women, because we done gone through that. Most of our friends and families don't even know that a man or woman exists.
I agree.
Until later
Yeah,
on, and then they looking at you like, well, where you
Where you
find
find
him? Where you find her? Like, you don't know, but you don't know who that is. or who
Polly, you
that
had anything
attached to.
else? Thank you so much
Thank
for your call.
you.
Appreciate it. So then, okay, then let me ask the question.
When is
when
a good
is an
time?
appropriate time
Yeah, 'cause
to
a
introduce your children
yeah,
to who you're dating?
But here's the thing. I think you have to just learn from the situations, the previous situations. You know, I think you just have to manage it. You know, and it's so funny when you say the uncle this, uncle that, because I experienced that. You know what I'm saying? My sister's father, my sister's father, my mom, she I remember her pulling us. She was like, because we used to call him by his last name.
Right.
So she's like, well, he's now known as Uncle Ben. I was like, okay, of course you know what's going on, right? I remember one day I called him by his last name. I don't know where I don't know where Han came from. But I had a tattoo on my face.
If I used to call him by his last name and I slip and call him by his last
Because that's what everybody called him by his last name. But for some reason, whatever it was, she said, listen, call him Uncle Ben. So we had to get used to that because we were busy calling him Benoit.
Why?
So one day I called him Benoit.
And then you get smacked.
His last name is Benoit.
His last name is Benoit.
Yeah.
So if you, well, I think.
But I'm just saying that to say I understand the uncle thing. You know what I'm saying? I understand because I live
See,
that.
for her, it was, you can't say daddy. So her thing is to make sure that you understand that he is being melded into you and this household. That's where this uncle so-and-so come from.
Like when I was living in the States, I asked Monique, I was like, why do kids call?
Oh, that's respect.
Yeah, I said, why would they say like Mr. Mike? And she's like, because the Mr. shows respect, Mike shows comfort. They know him. They know him. So they don't have to call him by his last name because it's too formal. Right. But the Mr. shows respect. The first name is comfort. And so I think that's what it was. I don't know. It could have been the same thing with your mom. It's like, okay, the Benoit thing, it's just because that's what everybody calls him. That is his common quote unquote name. So the uncle would give a certain degree of respect. And the Ben is the comfort thing.
Agreed, but here's where I disagree with that. The children take it upon themselves because the Mr. is what you command as the parent because it's a sign of respect. But that name is their sense of comfort with him. You cannot demand a child to feel comfortable with a man or woman. That's something has to come to their own. But most parents they won't force it on you. I'm not gonna force you. Either you like or don't like, and if my kids don't like you, some people are gonna have a problem with that. Then I can't roll with you.
No, for real. If
now my kids are being rude. That's different. No problem with that. But if my kids don't like, I believe that children and pets.
Yeah.
Children and animals have sex sense.
If my kids kind of looking at you little funny eyes, look at you a little funny too, and my man would be like, okay, let me pin this right here.
Yeah, children and animals have sex sense. Number one, and number two, if my kids don't like you, that's just setting us up for problems and dysfunction later on.
Let me pause you there.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
No. Animals is animals. If I have a dog in my yard and he ain't used to you, when you come to my yard, he have a problem with you. Point blank. He ain't your friend. He don't know you.
But that's my point.
But I'm saying just because an animal may not like you don't mean there's something wrong. If your child children on the other hand, like you say, children sense certain things. Like me, I tell them I tell people, I say, oh, I remember I went out with my son when he was a babe. And this lady came up to him, and one lady came up to him, and he was all putting hands up and smiling. And I said, "Yeah, you look at you sharp."
A little Casanova, right?
And she there grinning. He's so cute. And I was like, "Yeah, you getting tricked right now. You're being fooled. You're being tricked."
Wait.
Yeah. And like 3 minutes later, another lady came to him, and she tried to touch him, and he pulled back like, "Hey," and she kept like trying to touch him, and I moved him. And she was like, "What happened to him?" I said, "Baby, he kind of funny with people." I said, "You," and that's my thing. His spirit will take you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying,
but I just told her, I'm like, look,
are that way as well.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Dogs, especially dogs.
Yeah, dogs.
Dogs, they know. Yeah.
Let me tell you how I know. I proved it the other day when he came by my house. I have this little dog, only a couple of months.
Oh, Bear.
Bear.
I think they saying bear. I think it expect one
It's a
one
big
one
dog.
mile or
I
something
said,
like that.
watch out for
He
bear.
comes
So he
running down.
looked, and around the bend comes this big of a dog. He's like, really? Bear? And so bear, typically, anybody else comes, bear has a fetish for feet and shoes, which most puppies do. And he don't care who you is. He'll bite your foot and whatever. He came in slippers. I asked if bear touch his shoes or his slippers yet. D looked at him. Bear looked at him and he's like, oh, you's crazy.
We got a problem.
Yeah, and bear triple
We got
dog.
a
He smelled him a
problem.
couple of times, but he did not bite or whatever. So it isn't just a sense of nasty things. I think animals also pick up temperament of people and
Yes.
those kinds of things as well.
Yes.
And so the dog ain't no fool. He knew if he bit you, it's going to be a situation.
Yeah, I came right to the journey.
So he didn't. But what I'm saying is, if
No.
my children don't get along with you,
The junta.
then it's no sense in me building all of the fundamentals and putting in those things. Even though children have to build, but initially, if there's bad blood from the break, and after
Like you said,
trying to
it's-
spend more time and more time, it doesn't work.
Then it don't
Then
make no
it
sense.
probably won't ever
And here's
work.
the thing. I'm thinking about. Let me tell you. And I'm thinking. We're talking here, and I'm just thinking about my childhood. And it was like, I could actually appreciate the struggles my mother went through as a single mom.
Mhm.
I mean, I understand where the anger came from.
Right.
You see what- So I understand it. I mean, it was quite a bit of anger, but I
Mhm.
understand it.
Right.
You know, and I don't know if you guys remember when I told you that my mom's third husband.
Aaron's like, how many were there?
Yeah. Was it? Her second husband.
There you
Right.
go.
The second husband. She was married a couple months to him.
Okay.
I just graduated from school. I started.
Oh, that's the
at
one
the
with the coat or
bank.
something.
My mom gave me his sweater, and
he
he pitched a hissy fit.
Yeah, that's.
She was
that's
like, "This is my
ignorant.
son. He can't use your sweater."
No, this is my son who just got a job in a professional field, and for him to use
And
your sweater
she packed his
is
clothes.
an issue.
Yeah, because that was too much talking.
She
This is
packed
my
his
son
clothes.
who just
So I
died.
No,
appreciate
I'm
that,
saying-
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, no.
And then when you were saying that, if you're not comfortable with your kids, if your kids are not comfortable with somebody, then you're not, and I'm just
But how
thinking,
do people waste their time? Like that guy kind of already knew that. All right, yeah, I just want to. All right,
Because a lot of
and
times,
he's still married. And
because a lot of times they feel as though when you get married, the
he's
dynamic
supposed to comply.
change.
Absolutely.
No, the dynamic changes,
It'll be,
and now
I am now
it's
the head
right.
honcho, and they come secondary,
Right.
and my needs and wants will
Oh,
be that.
you setting yourself up for the gang and the okie doke, cause
That's not, but then some
No, no,
women
no.
are that way. How many times have we seen, Aaron? How many times have we seen women?
No,
Put,
it's not.
we've seen women
Let
put
me
their
explain-
children
wait till get finished. I think it's
not on the back burner, but under the stove because they are so desperate. I just finished telling Solid. I'm looking at somebody's. I was looking at someone's stats, a couple stats, some women, and I was just like, I seen a little trend here. Like they had these different things with the couples and those
Right.
kinds of things, and this is what it said. This is all I ever want in life. This is my mood. These are my goals.
And it's a guy.
It was just it was couples together. It was like a montage of couples holding hands or hugging or
Okay.
whatever, and that they said
The
this is
triplets.
all they ever think of. This is all they dream of. Like
way.
people are actually viewing this thing of relationships as the beginning and end to all things. Some people are so desperate for those kinds of connections that they'll let every and anything else go.
I wasn't ready. I just love family time.
sorry.
Oh, it's like the double. We have double love.
I'm sorry, Candy.
It's double love. Hi, cutie.
I'm making over there like, yo, let's go.
Vegas like I don't want to leave. But I agree. I think it's sad, D, and you say it's not sad, but I honestly think it's sad that you have to, that they have to experience that as kids, and that parents or women or men put themselves in that position where they're now teaching their children, or they feel that it's necessary that they're
Let me explain to you why I say
they're
it's
not
sad.
giving to their
Remember,
kids
For
because
me and Michael, I
love
love this teeter-totter because everything for me is
teeter-totter.
yeah, because everything for me is basically biblical.
Oh, Lord.
No, no reason, oh Lord. The thing is, like I said,
That's funny.
the thing is, like I said before, biblically it says that a husband should love his wife like Christ loved the church.
Mhm.
A wife should submit herself unto her husband. And I can tell people,
Mhm.
if I'm with you and you submit totally to me, and I love you above all, then your kids should matter. The problem is women date men who aren't genuine about their intent. They come there for one reason. I was going to say, but be on radio and breaker listening. They come there for that, and they feel as though, okay, if I marry her, I could now bully her into.
And it works for some.
And it does work.
But there's more females
But
taking
what
Why
submission?
do you have to use that tactic where the population?
saying.
It isn't even just that. Some men just go into it. They still, you have to understand, as the people that are sitting in this table and other people see it as they are really looking for having a mate that they can truly meld with, find a connection with. Like a woman dating D will not just be able to connect with him. His children are superlative in his life, and you have to connect with the children as well. And if she has children, he's going to have to as well. And if he is authentically interested in not just her, but knowing that she is a package deal. Some men have a problem with understanding what package deal is. There are women that are guilty as well. Not just that, your children are they just tag along. They don't understand. Right. They will take you out and they will go out, but there will never be a situation to say, let us go out. Let us and the children go out.
Like they say, I'm here. Like last week when he said, I'm here for you. I'm here for your church.
Right. And so sometimes men, but there are some men that there are some men that will get to that place where, okay, now that I see you making some sense, and you look like you're doing things as a mother. Okay, let me
slide over here in the next portfolio because I could be your third child.
Yeah, let me see what's happening.
And that's what it is. I'm not gonna come in trying to play daddy. No, I ain't on that.
Guns blazing.
Once I have already seen, okay, where you making sense and it makes sense,
right?
Then I have no problem in assisting and stepping into another role and assisting and helping out. I had a friend, this is a friend. Her children used to call me daddy.
Yeah.
And we were friends. I have an ex, up to this day, her children, when they see me, they still call me Mr. Dervin. They are she's been with someone else now for years.
Yeah, that's respect.
And so that's what it is.
That's a sign of you, of what you represented.
If
positive.
If I'm
we
with
need 2 hours for these
a woman,
kinds of things.
if it's not about trying to glossy her up and blow gap. No.
For you, it's not. But the consensus is sometimes you're just there to kind of get some benefit.
I don't know. Wow. This conversation needs to happen tomorrow because there's someone that wrote in and said that she and her was about to be fiance are at odds now,
right?
Because Father's Day came. The father of her child has passed away, and he elected not to do anything with the child. The kid did a little card for him or whatever.
The child did something for him.
Yeah, and he elected not to participate for about 2 years.
They were getting married.
Yeah, they talked about marriage, and that's where we're at right now. Yeah, but we can't even get into it properly because we out of time.
He ain't making no sense.
I just want to say,
well, man, I said pretty cool. You just want to hear.
Mike, how old is the child?
The child is 12. I think 12.
No.
12 and a boy.
That hurt me just now.
And that's what she said she's done but he would take the child out. He did the whole barber thing, and when Father's Day came, this is the first Father's Day
it's a boy or girl?
That the child has been a boy. It's a son, and so he decided that he went out. He got him a card. He got him a little token and whatever. And he thought that he would do something with him, like their church or something had like a father-son, and he didn't take him. He elected to. So now she's like, so now her thing is now, I think this could be I think you've now sent me a clear and present message.
You think so?
She's right. That's what she's saying. We can't even get into it.
No, the reason why I asked is because they've been dating. The reason why I asked is they've been dating for 2 years. You see what I'm saying? They've been dating for 2 years. So
Mike,
now she's getting indication.
No, because of what he did.
He did. He was doing a little barbershop.
Remember when I talk about the representation? They be all in about this rep.
But see now, when it actually comes to this is Father's Day, and this is a clear sign of what I need from you. They had a Father's
Right.
Day thing. The
Yeah.
boy
No, I
got dressed
get
to
you,
go,
though.
and he
I
didn't
get you.
take
I
it.
get you.
Go run.
No, I got you. I
We out
understand.
of time.
Yeah, we running.
out. We finished.
We running right now.
Now, if you don't want to come back and let's discuss this tomorrow and who right and who wrong and what, then we can do that. But we can't. So this is what Dervin's so hot right now. He hot over there. So I think we may just finish this conversation tomorrow.
I was just getting rid of my hair.
And yeah, and there it is again. So if you want to hear how this is and what you think about it, then by all means weigh in via Facebook. You can WhatsApp and let us know 431-8497. I got he, and this is what it is. So what do you think? Is he right in this situation, or is she right in saying that she thinks that she has to terminate the relationship? What should be done in reference to the son at this point? We'll leave you with that as we tune out, and you tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock for a brand new edition of Love Jones on Global 99.5.
See ya.
You've been listening to Love Jones.